5 mistakes that especially technical candidates want to avoid while preparing, especially for the non-technical part of their upcoming interview. And the first one, probably the most important of all, is your answers being too short, too long, templated, or boring. In other words, you must quickly find out what's a good answer versus what's not a good answer. In other words, to self-assess. Probably the easiest way to achieve this is by role-playing with someone or even recording yourself. But the idea is the faster you achieve this capability of assessing the quality of your answers, the better the chances that you'll have a great performance, at least for the non-technical part of your upcoming interview. The second thing you want to keep in mind, especially for technical candidates, is the rapport building process in a job interview. And it starts, with those awkward couple of minutes into the conversation, but it goes, throughout your interview and even afterwards when you might want to send them a couple of thank you notes there. But rapport building, especially for the non-technical part of the interview, is really, really important and can often make a difference, especially both for the phone screening round, but most of the time for the now virtual on-sites, they will have to give you a higher or no higher recommendation. And you see, this is one of those factors. Did you feel like there was chemistry with that interviewee or not? That's also a factor. It's always a factor, right? Number 3 here, you have too few stories. So what happens here is you as a technical candidate, you might not be as understandably, you might not be as skilled at behavioral interviews and understanding behaviors. So you would say that, hey, I don't have enough stories, but what happens is you will spin over and over your best stories during a job interview, or you will prepare some superficial stories, some your A-game stories, and the rest of the stories, and you will always spin the A stories and sometimes even use a worse story. No, you have to have great stories. If you prepare 10 stories, they must be really exceptional stories. So it's really important that the quality of your stories is good. And people spend months preparing for a behavioral interview, especially if it's an intense one. So really invest the time, because it's really worthwhile to find the best possible stories. And I'm sure many you have them. You just have to look deeper. I also have other videos where I advise you how to go about this. Number 4, asking for too much help. Now, asking for too much help happens before the interview, for example, where you overconsume content to prepare for your interview. For example, if you watch 100 of my videos to prep for your behavioral interview, I believe that's too much and you'll become biased. But also continues, during the interview. I know candidates who ask at the end of each of their answer, does this fully answer your question? I believe that's too much. It's annoying in my opinion. So don't over rely on external stuff. Try to produce content. Try to become self-sufficient. In a way, this is how it works. You must literally crack the code of behavioral interviewing. You must master these things. It's, like programming, if you want, like an algorithm. And it also goes on, with the rejection feedback. I don't recommend you to ask for rejection feedback, but if you do, take it very, very cautiously, because it might demoralize you. It might do more harm than good. I also have another video where I detail the reasons here, but it might sound counterintuitive to you, but if you'll watch that video, you'll find out more. And last but not least, try to smile every now and then, or try to manage your attitude. Try to have an attitude that sells in a job interview, such as, energy, positivity. So these would be, the 5 things that I want you to keep in mind going, especially as a technical candidate in your upcoming interview. Thank you very much for watching.